My name is Kathleen Benjamin, and I'm a licensed practitioner of Centers for Spiritual Living. Here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, we are actively co-creating a world that evolves through the power of service, prayer, and play, a world that works for everyone. We honor all paths that lead to the recognition of the divine. We honor shamanism as a path of the inward journey and soul travel. We honor Hinduism as a path recognizing the divine in each person. We honor Judaism as a path of law. We honor Taoism as a path recognizing the perfect order and balance of the universe. We honor Taoism. I just said that. We honor Buddhism as a path of compassion and peace. We honor Christianity as a path of love and forgiveness. We honor Islam as a path of constant prayer. We honor Baha'i as a path recognizing the oneness in all religions. We honor New Thought and a path of healing and the power of the mind. And we honor you and the path that brought you here. Richest blessings.
Welcome to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Kristen Kephart, and I am the spiritual director here. Currently, we are 100% virtual, which means all of our offerings are online. So whether you've been with us for 45 years or today is your first time, please check out our website for the most current, up-to-date information on what we have going on here. Also on that front page of our website, you can sign up for our newsletter, and that will set you up to receive once a week, Thursday or Friday, our newsletter, again, with the most up-to-date current information of what we have going on at our center. Next, if you are wondering how to give to the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, we have multiple ways. You can send checks to our P.O. Box 2360, Camarillo, California. Text to give. You can use PayPal. All of those options are also included with links in the chat. And if you are interested in electronic tithing, please contact our office and we will talk to you about the program, send you the forms, and address any questions that you may have. So here at the Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living, please know that you're honored. You are honored and that you are loved. And let's not forget to thank Spirit for this beautiful day. So wherever we are, whatever time we're watching this, whether it's sleet, snow, sunshine, darkness, whatever it is, please know that it is a beautiful day. We let that beauty shine from in us out. It shines from the inside out. That beauty, that radiance, that spark that's in each and every one of us that lights up this world. So today I welcome in this beautiful day. Next, please join me as we sing our congregational song, Opening Up in Sweet Surrender, with the talented Jennifer Ruth Russell and Michael Gale. Take it away.
Good morning, Camarillo Center for Spiritual Living. We are delighted to be with you today. We're coming live from our studio. Let's begin by opening up our heart in sweet surrender. Get up and dance with us. Sing along. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of God. I am opening. I am opening. surrender to the luminous love light. Oh, I am opening now in sweet surrender to the luminous love light. Oh, I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. We are opening now in sweet surrender to the luminous love light. Oh, we are opening now in sweet surrender to the luminous love light. Oh, we are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. Oh, come within your heart with me in this open heart, this beautiful kingdom, queendom of heaven right here within us. I am so grateful to recognize the I am that I am. And now let's open up our hearts to each other. I am so grateful that you are on the planet with me. Namaste.
It's time for our affirmation of the day. Join me as we say it 3 times. Today I release my old story and behold a new me as the beloved. Today I release my old story and behold the new me as the beloved. Today I release my old story and behold the new me as the beloved.
So join me as we turn inward to the upper room. We step into the upper room to remember to remember. We remember the power and the presence of the One, the love intelligence governing the universe that is the source of all creations. This is the source of my life. Pure love and pure joy that are ever unfolding in everywhere as Mother Nature, as the cosmic mother, as Mother God. We choose to elevate and remember the divine feminine today, knowing that the ever unfolding joy that the cosmic mother is the ever unfolding joy that I am. It is the ever unfolding joy that you are. It is the infinite possibility of Mother God that is absolutely everywhere, that runs in, as, and through my life. It runs in, as, and through your life. It is always available. It's closer than our hands and feet. It is the potentiality that is everywhere present, always, in all ways. How grateful I am to know this truth, that this is my true nature, that I am always being loved, I am always being nurtured. This infinite presence is always sourcing me. It is sourcing you. That we are infinitely powerful, infinitely beautiful, ever unfolding harmony. How grateful I am to know the truth of our being today. As we lean into this unified field of awareness, we do so with a greater awareness and a greater receptivity on this day. We are more receptive to our true nature of what and who and whose we are. We are unfolding as revolutionary love right now, as our living, as our seeing, as our breathing. This is the magnificent truth about us. How grateful I am to share this truth with you. And we share it with everyone because we are one with everyone. And so today I am so grateful to be celebrating Mother's Day, to be celebrating the divine feminine. And I send out a mighty blessing to Reverend Kristen, knowing that she is a divine mother herself. that her beauty goes before her and prepares the way as it does for this service. We are prepared to receive this magnified good of God that's coming forth as Reverend Kristen's message today. So we are so grateful for this, that she is blessed and a blessing as an individual and as her entire life, knowing that everyone she touches is made aware of the presence of God simply by seeing her. And I know that we are healed in our hearts as we hear the harmonizing music that comes forth as Jennifer Russell and Michael Gale. I know this service is blessed and a blessing, and we simply rejoice and celebrate it as our life today. For this and so much more, I am eternally grateful. And so it is. Amen, amen, ashe.
Holy, 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 in the presence great and mighty. Holy, 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 love divine within me. In a light that shines divinely, in a love that gives so freely, in a joy that smiles brightly, in a peace that flows so deeply. Holy, 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 in a presence great and mighty. Holy, 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 love divine within me. Inner eye that sees so clearly, inner ear that always guides me, inner truth that never fails me, inner power that holds strong. Oh, holy, 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 in a presence great and mighty. Holy, 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 love divine within me. Holy, 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 in a presence great and mighty. Holy, 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 love divine within me.
We are in May of 2021, and this whole month we've been talking about the Holy, Holy Uprising and what that is in our lives. At the Centers for Spiritual Living, we are on the leading edge. We are the leading edge of spirituality in organization, and we are poised with our teaching and our tools to take to humanity to this new paradigm of consciousness. We are invited to demonstrate this in our lives, our centers, our communities, and in the world. And in order to do that, we must rise up and stand in and for what we believe in and stand against nothing and hold ourselves accountable for how we interact in this world and with others, and holding that space for ourselves to live this grand, beautiful thing called life, and also stand and be allies for those that have struggles and don't have the same equalities. Even though we say we are men and women and we are equal, we know in our society that that isn't so. So we stand, and we're in this holy, holy uprising, recognizing that this is the time, this is the space to create a world that works for all. And that requires me, and that requires you to look at the stories that we walk through our lives with, and determine, is it time to boldly live a new story? And that's what we're talking about today, is boldly living a new story. So what stories about our individual and collective past do we continue to tell? What do we continue to tell? And if we sit back and we're really honest and really are going through and looking what we actually speak out there in the world, the question is, are they the most life-affirming stories? Are we sharing stories that are continually keeping us down, or keeping our society down, stuck in a past construct? So what if this Sunday we commit to changing the narrative? What if we imagine being so bold that we truly embody principle as author and not precedent? That if we simply put our faith and put our knowledge and the beloved first, and hold that as the story and walk through life as that. So first, if we look at our stories, if we look at the kind of stories that we tell, we look at the kind of stories that we create, we look at the stories that we make believe. I love to people watch. And in that people watching process, I make up stories. I remember once sitting in Disneyland and all of a sudden recognizing, I'm not on all the e-ticket rides and standing in line, but rather I'm sitting in the square, at the entrance of Disneyland, where Lincoln, so we're down Main Street, and sitting there and just people watching for hours and having such a wonderful time. But I people watch, but then I find my mind creating stories for them of living the most amazing lives that I could think of. And I just imagine and create and laugh and enjoy, and as they interact, make up the story of what they're talking about. And we do it all the time. We stand in the grocery store line and we make up stories of the person in front of us that's fumbling to try to get their change out. And maybe we're fumbling that they don't have enough money, and so they're struggling with their last change that they have in their pocket. But in reality, maybe they have 15 change jars and they don't want to roll up the tubes for the banks to put them in, or put the money and pay a commission with one of those corn star machines. So they're actually using currency in coin form to pay for things because they are simply trying to reduce the amount of coins that they have. So the other thing is Instagram and Facebook. When we look at social media, and we see that the stories that people are projecting or that they are showing us are these perfect lives, that are all about beauty, and they stand in the forefront, and it's creating at some point it's creating this morphed idea of really what life is all about, of what we're actually, as a global community, our global world, creating out there. So Raymond Charles Barker had this to say: check your thinking of even the past hour. It will reveal where you stand in the hallways of mind. So prior to you sitting down and joining service, what were you thinking about? What's actually going on in your mind? And as we take a look at that, it's kind of a good checkpoint to say, am I really holding the highest and most beautiful thought to create the life that I want to live? And if it isn't, if it's full of negativity or needing to bring somebody down so you feel better, then maybe take a look at that and readjust where you're going. So if you find yourself being a victim or a hero or you're a coach, find that place of where you want to be, define that, and then check your thoughts and make sure that they are in alignment with one another. When they're in alignment, when our thoughts and our words and our prayers are in alignment with our goal, then we manifest and are truly living our highest and best. Also, this month I've been reading A New Design for Living by Ernest Holmes. It's not a new book, but I have it off my shelf and reading it daily. And on page 59, this is what it has to say. The purpose of our lives is to live life. Do not shy away from it, be fearful of it, or deprive yourself of its full enjoyment. The sooner we become to realize the full nature of life, the sooner we are able to accept and experience the innate goodness in all that we are and do. Our lives are what we make them, thought by thought, and herein lies the possibility to express creativity and partake of the divinity that is in the center of all of us. And that's really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is lighting up the divine within us. That divine that lives within us, through us, and outside of us. It's the only thing that there is. And to allow that to be the best business partner you've ever had. To let the divine lead you and guide you and hold you as we walk through this thing called life. To open up to it and have such faith in it and allow it to work in unison with our beloved within. To allow yourself to let go of the fear, to step into your next highest best, to step into a new job that you actually love, to step into a new part of your life, a new adventure because you love it, to not be held back and restricted because we have put the divine or spirit or God in a box, or that we don't think that we're worthy enough to stand up and be the magnificent person that deep down we know that we are, that spirit knows that we are constantly evolving with it and growing into our highest and best instead of remaining small. So in this thing called you, Ernest had this to say. This is a story of your life. Just keep on knocking at the doorway of your consciousness until every no becomes a yes. Every negation an affirmation. Every fear of faith. It takes work. It takes persistence. It's taken a lifetime, and a lifetime even before we arrived, of having this collective consciousness that doesn't serve us, that doesn't allow for the highest and best. So we continuously have to keep in check with it, daily, minute by minute, second by second, the best that we can, to not allow, we're reprogramming our minds, we're reprogramming and allowing to live a life of yes. To live a life of yes, and to live a life where we reduce the negativity that we think, that we speak, and that we allow our world to be. And this boldly living, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the stories of leaving stories behind. And personally, we all have the ups and downs in life, and having some stories where were pretty tragic, and that going through it, that story was real life. And as time goes through, and I'm able, or was able, to get to the other side of it, and recognize that I am still whole, that I am still perfect, that I am a human that is evolving into perfection, that to release the shame and release the blame, and to not allow all the emotions to just drag my body and my heart and my soul down the street. That it becomes, that story becomes possibly a teaching tool, like when we're in class and using examples, but it is not the story that I let define who I am. I take the struggles and the things that I've learned, or the things that have become the most important thing in my life, and I use those to better my day-to-day life. I use those to better and ensure that my brothers and siblings and sisters aren't suffering. So I take those, and again I use them as learning tools, and I release that story to allow the anxiousness and the fear and the hatred, and allow all of that to dissolve and get into a place of forgiveness and love. Was also thinking this past week about, who am I? Who are you? And I was going through, and I'm like, I am Kristen. I am a mother. I am a daughter. I am educated. I am a minister. And I just kept going. going and going and going and using factual things. And what I found is I was starting off again at this micro level of who I believe Kristen is. And as I went through, I was finding myself, I'm running out of things to come up with of who I am, to label of who I am. And in reality, I wasn't coming out, or I wasn't running out of things to label myself. What I was actually doing is, when I reflected and looked back, is I was opening up to a bigger sense of who I am. And it was, I am divine. I am love. I am compassion. I am one that walks in peace. And those other things, the ones that the stories of who I've come to know who I am, some of them I've let go, because at the end of the day, and at the end of this thing called life in this physical body, I want to be remembered as a person who loved, as a person who would sit and listen and hopefully not be full of judgment, and be able to hold the peace and to hold your highest and best that I know you are when you can't. And that we celebrate together when we both recognize our spiritual magnificence together. That we walk through this thing called life together. We walk through this thing called life together and for constantly stepping forward and evolving into living in a world that works for all. That works for all. And that is a huge, huge, huge calling. So, do I personally think that I'm ever going to be complete in that? And the answer is no. And the answer is no because I constantly say yes. I constantly say yes when asked. So I am in continuous movement in this evolving of this thing called life. And that is where I want to be remembered. I want to be that vessel of love. And again, in order to do that is to constantly be checking in with ourselves and affirming our truth, affirming what we believe. And when we're making up stories, and you catch yourself and they are not pleasing on whatever you're concocting in your mind, switch your story. Pick a better story and enjoy that story that you're creating. So there is a book called Forgive for Good, Fred Luskin. If you can view your mind as your house, it can teach you to control how much space you rent to your wounds and grievances. You are the proprietor and you set the rent. So let's set our rent high. Let's set our rent where we allow the goodness to take up space. That we allow our hopes and our dreams to take up space. And that we work on releasing our wounds and our grievances. And I'm not saying to spiritually bypass and say, hey, I forgive. It's a process, and it is a process that we go through with our spiritual tools to release those wounds and to work through releasing those wounds, to allow a space to open up where you can live the best life that you can imagine. So today, I release my old story and I behold the new me as the beloved. I walk with the one. I am one with the one. And I allow my goodness to shine through, and my goodness to continuously grow and build and evolve as we walk through this thing called life. So today's spiritual practice that I would like to leave you with is the practice of gratitude. The practice of gratitude for the life that we've lived and with all the stories that we have created. To be grateful for the good ones, to be grateful for living through the horrific ones, but to take time, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen, and I am grateful for. Doesn't matter how big or small, but to practice gratitude. And in practicing gratitude, let's go into prayer. And I'm going to start with, I am so grateful and thankful to be in this space right here and right now, that I step into this present moment with my beloved and my beloveds. I am so grateful for this thing called life. I am so grateful for the goodness that continues to shower over me. So with such gratitude, I recognize that there is one thing, this one thing that today I'm going to call God. And in that beauty of that oneness with the one, I step into my dominion. I step into my divinity. I step into allowing myself to believe stories that I create of good. For my good is my God, and my God is my good. So I step in and I let go of the stories that no longer serve me. I let go of the stories that no longer serve my community. I let go of the stories that no longer serve our planet Earth. And I release them and I say thank you. I release them and I allow a space to create a greater good. And I live that. And I allow that to begin with me. I let go and I let God. I let go and I let God. And I step into my greater being. We step into our greater being. We do this with love. We do this with beauty. We do this with wisdom. We do this in peace. And I step into that fully and completely. And I release these words into the law, for the law says yes. I say yes. And we let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Until next time, love ya.
Thanks for being with us this morning. Let's close out the circle with something wonderful.